All right, Pit Masters, here we are live with our tasting. It's not the normal podcast night of Tuesday night, but it is our monthly rub tasting. Tonight we have Meat Hammer on. We're going to talk to Lee about the products and how he came about. But Derek, what's up, man? How you been?
Good, good. How about yourself? Just keep it busy, man.
Yeah, I've been real busy lately, honestly, but between trying to attend sports events, work, and podcasting, it's and cooking in between here and there too. So it's all been juggling a little bit to make stuff happen, but we're here. So let's start off with some drama. Might as well. What do you think about what do you think about this KCBS scenario extending the season?
Extended the season. There's definitely a lot of chatter going out in the Twitter sphere, if you will. So social media, you're seeing a lot of chatter in regards to. You got a lot of people that are going for it. They're excited. It extends the season, so it's going all the way full calendar year. And then you have a good amount of people that are objecting to it because they've gotten a good healthy lead, let's say, in the toy race this year, and they have a valid argument. You've announced it a quarter of the way into the season that you're going to extend the season basically. So we're now in March. So yeah, they're now just saying, hey, we're going to go a little bit longer now. So it's definitely interesting to get everybady's feedback. What about you? What do you think? I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not chasing points for KCBS, but what about you? How do you feel?
I don't have that type of money to go chase that and the time, right? The time is crazy. But I don't understand why the KCBS just doesn't have a solid start and end date. I don't know why they don't do it like SCA January 1 to December 31st, right?
Right, like a full calendar year. Yeah,
exactly. It's I understand. It just makes zero sense to me, but I'm pretty sure their organization, they voted on it supposedly. They have the board in place and all that, but it should be a 12-month calendar year. It's team of the year, not team of the extended year.
Yeah, right. Or the fiscal year or whatever it may be. But that was a valid point that you brought up as well, was they just selected the board. So the board just got brought on for this year just last month. They just voted on all the board members, assigned them, and then all of a sudden they brought this onto the table. They voted for it, and they put it into effect immediately, opposed to what would have hurt if we just, I don't know, maybe started it next year, 2026. Right. January 1st to December 31st. So very curious about that.
Yeah, but it we talked about just before we went live, there is some benefits from it. Christy Vanover, she has her competition that she puts on every year, and then that makes hers as a qualifier now. It adds that extra time for more people to come out, but I don't know if that will hinder or promote. That's one of those things.
Right.
So I guess we'll find out. Time will tell, but I'm not that. I don't have that much skin in the game either. I cook maybe 2 KCBS contests a year, maybe 3 this year coming up. But it's just one of those things that I really don't know. We'll see what Greg Rimpey says about it. He will really expose the sides when Greg goes live, right?
Oh no, absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing that as well. And I'm pretty sure all the other barbecue podcasts will be touching on it as well. So I'd love to hear any feedback. And if anybody's watching, put it in the comments as to what you think your thoughts are on extending the KCBS Team of the Year race for this current year. But for events, what do you got going on in a month of March up in Utah? Anything going on the West Coast for SCA KCBS?
Everybody's heading to Fort Worth.
Okay. Everybody's heading to Fort Worth. All right.
Yep. Everybody's heading to Fort Worth. There's no competitions due to that in the month of March. But we do have a KCBS Ute is going to be May 2nd and 3rd. That is going to be a great event. Chrissy, hopefully you can make that up. I know it's hard between you getting a contest ready and being able to cook. There's a lot in there, but there's that. And then just the once a month SCAs in Utah. How about you though? Is there anything going on? Any new news?
Nothing new, but the same contest that we've been touching on before. So they have the open judging KCBS style format in Lodi, California, and Northern California. So that's a backyard on the grape. And they will you'll do your turn-ins and get live judging, get live feedback, which is phenomenal for, let's say, backyard teams that are trying to get positive or just try to get feedback on their turn-ins and what they could do differently. And then we also have March 15th in Dinuba, California, that I believe is their 3rd year doing a contest. So that'll be March 15th. And then Lake Havasu is at the end of the month as well. March 29th, we have Lake Havasu. But we did just come out of where I saw Christy in February back in Yuma, Arizona. So that was a fun contest, great turnout. And congratulations to Steve-O's Barbecue out of Las Vegas on the GC. And then Smokin' Volts, Gabe, Smokin' Volts, the RGC.
Yep, good job to those guys, man. He's rolling, man. It's really strange, you know. It's he's just so quiet and kicks back. He reminds me of Jerry Aguilar, you know, just does his own thing, and then you see him at awards, and next year, you know, he's walking.
You know what? He's been very consistent, and especially with his caterings. If you've been following him on his social media, go check him out on Instagram or Facebook, and you'll see that he does a lot of catering. So he takes that time to do his handle his practices for his KCBS cooks, the tenderness game, and everything, and you can see it's applying. So. You know, shout out to them as well.
Right. Well, cool, man. Let's go talk to Lee and see what these rubs are all about. I'm super excited to give them a go, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Let's bring the panel in and let's get rolling with Lee Coronado.
Yep.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1.
What up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
What's going on, everybody?
Awesome.
What's up?
Heck yeah. Well, let's go around the table. Introduce everybody. We'll start off with, I guess, Derek. You're up, man. You're right there.
Okay. Derek Walls here out of San Diego, California. I cook with West Coast Barbecue Shop. We do KCBS right now, so we're going into our third year. That sounds about right. Fourth year. And not doing a whole lot of contests as we used to, but I am a certified barbecue judge for KCBS, table captain, helped organize KCBS events in the past, but just backyard, KCBS series, all the above. Just love spreading the love and the gospel of barbecue.
Sweet. Trevor.
Yeah, I'm Trevor Jensen with La Luna Barbecue. I'm out of the Salt Lake City area in Utah. KCBS judge, do some KCBS competitions, just a little bit of YouTube and some social media stuff. I just love barbecue, love helping people, training people, and, you know, whatever I can do with it.
Rob.
Robert Meyer from Union Grove, Wisconsin, with Kick-Ass Barbecue and the High Stakes Grilling Team. Do a lot of SCA competitions as well as KCBS. Do a fair amount of catering as well. But just like everyone else says, love all things barbecue, sharing the knowledge and also learning it as well.
Marty.
Yeah, Marty Rich, Mental Voodoo Barbecue. And then we also are Voodoo Roasters Coffee. We're one of the sponsors in the SCA. We do some local sponsoring here with some of the barbecue pit stop series in the SCA as well. So we compete. We're headed to Worlds. And love doing these tastings and getting a good feel for everybody's rubs and how much some of them are different and some are similar. But awesome. I've actually used some of Lee's pork hammer in the past. Great results.
And Mr. Sean Rapier taking 5th place out of 25, fresh out of retirement.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it was good to be back, man. And in St. George. It was even better that I got to drive 12 minutes. So, but yeah, that was fun. It was fun to be back and competing. But yeah, Sean Gabacu out of southern Utah, currently up on the Oregon coast. So it's kind of nice out here. But yeah, SCA again. Actually took about 1.5 years off while we moved and had some other stuff going on, but back to it on SCA and got some backyards coming up, including teaming up with Marty for a backyard coming up. So this should be a good time.
Be fun.
Love it. Christy Vanover.
Hey guys, I'm Christy Vanover, Girls Can Grill. You can find me at girlscangrill.com and all the socials at Girls Can Grill, KCBS cook, KCBS judge, KCBS organizer, also an SCA organizer. So April 26th, we have Roll the Dice in Vegas, the SCA cook-off with BBQ. Definitely need some more teams to sign up. That one was huge when we did it a couple years ago. It's going to be at the Silverton Casino. And then November 21st, Barbecue Jackpot is back, our KCBS here in Vegas. So that will be at the Silverton as well. Hope teams sign up. Actually, registration's not open for that one yet, but registration's open for the SCA.
Quick question with that. Are you, did we expand the lot again? How many teams are we looking to this time?
Yeah, so last time we sold out twice. I've now moved the lot just a little bit to the west. So we have a larger lot. It's flatter. There's no trees in the middle of the spot. So we should be able to maybe get a few more teams in there. So I'd still love to see a sellout, but I think that we could probably fit it closer to like 90 teams, which will be awesome.
Sweet. And then just one more travel restriction on the SCA. Are trailers allowed? Overnight camping allowed?
Trailers, yes. You can come in Friday. You can stay the night Saturday as well in the parking area. And it's going to be the same lot where we're going to do the barbecue jackpot. So there's plenty of space there.
Perfect.
Yeah. Get signed up.
All right. Yes, get signed up. The registration is open for the SCA. Get on that.
Yeah.
All right. The man of the hour. We got Lee Coronado with Meat Hammer Barbecue. We're going to give you the screen solo for this. Go ahead and introduce yourself and how you got into the rub game.
My name is Lee Coronado with That's One Barbecue, Meat Hammer Rubs. Been cooking on and off for most of my life. About 2015, I started competing and doing stuff like that and played around with it, and then got lazy mixing the rubs up at home. So I started looking at co-packers, found one, mixed it up, and I thought might as well try to put it out and see if I can't fund this whole competition thing, and just took off from there. It's been fun ever since.
Very nice. So it's just random. I didn't want to make it anymore. Let's have somebody else make it and bottle it up. It was that simple, huh?
Yep, laziness, pretty much.
Some things come great of that, of course. But we do have some of your rubs tonight. It looks like we have 4 that we're going to give a go. We have beef hammer, machete, pork hammer, and then jalapeno garlic butter. So we're going to give them all a go. So let's not wait. Let's just get into it. We're going to start off with beef hammer. Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown of beef hammer while we taste this and how this came about?
So it was the first rub I started with, doing steaks and things like that. And the SCA had always mixed up a bunch of different rubs that are already out there and never really found a flavor that I liked. So started mixing this one up, playing around with it, and finally landed on this one. So it's got some butter in there, some garlic and things like that.
Nice. First thing I get out of it is I get an earthy flavor. Super earthy, but then a smoky. I get the smokiness to it, and then later towards the end, I start to get the salt and pepper flavors on that, which is great, well balanced. From the color, it looks like it's going to give beef a great look, but it's very earthy, very, very base-like, I should say. It's a great base to go on any type of beef product, and then you can build from that. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but it is a very, very good base.
Yep. So there's some oregano in there. That's probably giving you the earthiness, and then chipotle that'll give you that smoky.
Yeah, I was going to say right off the bat, I did taste some of that smoky taste that Anthony was talking about, and then a little bit of that heat that's still kind of lingering, not like an overpowering bad heat, but just like that good heat that just lingers, which is good.
Yeah, it's a good amount of pepper, and then it mellows out when you cook it like most rubs. So then might be a little bitterness that goes away too when you cook with it as well.
I immediately got the butter notes. Ooh, my audio is not so great. Sorry. Is that sounding okay on your end, Anthony?
I'm getting a feedback.
Yeah, me too. I'll let somebody else go.
I really like this one because I'm like you, Christy, and so I get the butter flavor coming out, and then the smokiness, and then kind of the garlic and the pepper kind of comes in later. But the pepper's not overpowering either. And that's one of the things that I've seen with a lot of the beef rubs is they'll do a more coarse pepper. And so it's still fantastic on beef, but to try and taste it, it seems like the balance is off until you actually cook with it. But it really does kind of come in and complement and balance. I think it's outstanding. I do love the smokiness in it too. That really is nice.
Thank you.
All right. Was that clear for everybody or was it choppy?
That's choppy for me.
A little choppy.
Yeah, that was choppy.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll jump in. I'll jump in next. I
Okay.
feel like, you see on shows where people are like, I have to disclose in advance before I rave about it. I'm actually part of Team Meat Hammer, so I know these rubs inside and out. I've been part of Team Meat Hammer for, I don't know, Lee, 3-4 years now. Like
Yeah.
it's been a few
Almost
years.
since
So
it started.
but I'll tell you something I'm super like why I love this really quickly, if I can, Anthony. Just really quickly, I was using a different rub combo and was getting crushed at SCA. And like literally one weekend, I got crushed on a flyer. I tried Meat Hammer and walked third the following weekend. And I was and not knowing, like I had one practice cook and I've been with it ever since. It's
Awesome.
freaking rad stuff. I love regular, just the straight up beef hammer is awesome as a base. I build around it on beef all the time. Big cuts, little cuts, steaks, whatever. What I love about it is it's not overly salty. So you can build on it with other stuff and you're not going to get crushed by the salt. And then also, because he won't tell you himself, Lee is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Like he's just a good dude who does right by his team. So anyway, those
Right.
are my 2 cents.
I'm going to tell you this. We're not going to get into the details of how Lee and I have had some serious conversations, but I will tell you, this dude is meticulous. He does his research. He digs deep and wants the answers to everything, and that's exactly what you need into somebody who's actually going to build a product that understands it and will actually do the research and go deep. So Lee, I give it to you on that side note of our conversations that we have, but being meticulous and being able to do your research is fantastic, especially building a great product.
Thank you.
How does my audio sound now?
It's good. Go ahead. Give us a review there.
Awesome. So yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, the buttery notes is what I was saying. I really liked because I don't know, somehow it like with my mind, it complemented the meltiness of it. Like I can just see that it will dissolve into the meat beautifully. I do also see that it says World Championship winning ingredient. So Lee, what did you win an SCA with this or something? Or
That was Peter Armendariz. He won the state category at World Food Championships, and he had it in his recipe.
Nice.
So I would just say it's winning ingredient and not actually winner itself.
Yeah, no. That's awesome. I mean, that says a lot when champs are using your rubs. So yeah, no, it's really nice. Not too salty as people touched on. It's got that heat from that chipotle with the smokiness that I really like. I think as everybody's pretty much already said, I think as a base layer, it's going to set a really good foundation and nice color. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Derek.
How do I sound?
Good.
Okay, yes. It was an explosion of flavor. Absolutely. I agree with everybody on the panel so far. Excuse me. I've been struggling with a sinus thing the past week. So that was so unexpected. When I took that initial sample, and I should have known better too, because it's not like it's a coarse, it's a very fine, almost like a finishing dust. So what made you decide? So can you touch on why you decided for a beef rub to go so fine? Can you kind of touch on that, as opposed to going to like a coarse, like a Montreal seasoning where you get those large chunks? Why did you go so fine on your beef rub?
Okay, so like the beef rub and most of my rubs, you'll see that they're all pretty fine powders. It's because I chose to go with less sodium and salt as a filler and use actual spices and herbs and things like that to actually have the flavor stand out more, and not just to get a product on the shelf and make money with it, but try to put out some really good stuff.
No, it goes hand in hand. Well, you even mentioned too, you wanted to do this, go the lazy route with the co-packer, but also see if you can also fund your competitions with it too. So It's got to sell, right?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, because even as I was going through it and looking through it, you'll see the salt in there and it's well pronounced, but it's well balanced as well. So, but yeah, right out of the gate, I was not expecting that wave of flavor right off the bat. So, and I can understand why we're using this as a base for our beef, because you can go so many different directions with it. It has the buttery savoriness to it. It has the depth from it with the smokiness. So, yeah, like that is, I'm not mad at it. I was off guard.
Awesome. Let's appreciate
Perfect.
that.
Is that everybody?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So Yeah, I think it was. I don't know if you've ordered the ingredients in order of how much. How sometimes they do that, but I had been surprised that the salt was at the top because it's it's not overly salty,
Mhm.
it's not overpowering, it doesn't blow out your palate or anything like that. I did get maybe a little bit of celery salt. I don't know if you got that in there, but seemed like
Yeah,
it got
little.
some celery salt in there, and then the oregano is kind of the thing that's standing out to me. So I'm almost thinking about. I know probably great on steak, but I've been thinking about like a beef tenderloin. Might be
Oh,
really
yeah.
nice for something like that. Serve it with some pasta or something like that. But yeah, I think it's a great rub. I like it's really fine. And every time I tasted it, I actually got like a slightly different profile because like
Mhm.
the third or fourth time I got a lot of those sweet notes and everything. I didn't get those any of the other times. So I think you put a nice thick layer of dust on your
Yeah.
thing as a base with this, and you're going to get some really smooth coverage. But yeah, it's a really nice rub.
Thank you.
Yeah. I feel like it's honestly too, it'd be great for fajitas. It does have that, has that Southwest flavor to it a little bit as well. So, Marty, before we move on, let's get another audio check. Make sure you're doing all right.
Yeah. Sound or sound?
No. Why he does this next one, maybe just log out, come back in. I got you. All right, Lee, let's get on to the machete. Where did that come from, and what's the story behind this?
So my buddy Adam Scher here in Amarillo, Texas, he mixed up this little batch of some stuff with some hatch chilies and really loved it, really loved the flavor. So I was like, asked if I could borrow it, and went from there, started playing around with different things from the co-packer and came up with this one. Kind of more your earthy Mexican style stuff like that, but focusing on the actual chilies.
Yeah, it's a very neutral rub. It's not offending. Very earthy. I'm trying to find the words for this here on it. It's very neutral. There's nothing that stands out like pops, but it has a good flavor to it. I'd like to pair the beef hammer and this together to really bring out that beef flavor. Man, I'm really
Those are
trying
the
to put
two
my
I
finger
mix
what
on
it is.
steaks is a combo of beef hammer and machete.
Yeah.
Yep, I would absolutely. I was thinking the exact same thing, and Anthony was starting to touch on that. I feel a great blend between the two of those with the machete and the beef. It'll also, I don't want to say tone down because that's not what it's going to do, really. It is still going to complement the beef rub by combining the machete with it. But like the whole time we're talking about, we're touching on what tenderloin and steaks and everything else. I'm thinking, how's this going to go with asparagus? How's this going to go with some grilled vegetables on the grill over the heat, getting that char on there? And this would be phenomenal with that, along with the beef rub combined. The one thing I will say, I think we should have switched these two. We should not have started with beef rub and then jumped to this, because I feel like it totally blew this one out of the water. Because this one is so much lighter. We should have started with this one. So I feel like we didn't give this one a fair shake. Just my honest opinion. When I tried it, I was like, oh, I got to go in harder for a better sample, because the beef rub is still lingering. And I kept, and just like we've been talking about, like you go back for a second or a third taste and you're like, oh, I'm picking up different notes. I'm getting sweetness now in this. So, but no, it's great. But yeah, I feel like it's toned down a lot just because of the first rub, but I see the potential that's here. But I don't want to take anything away from it. So once my palate is cleansed after this tasting, I'm going in for another shot.
Well, Derek, it's a mellower rub. It's not aggressive, and I think it could be going on something more delicate like lamb, with those earthy flavors and everything like that. I think it paired great with lamb.
Lamb or seafood, fish, a white fish.
Amanda
Absolutely.
just said shrimp. She said shrimp.
Absolutely. But see, I don't want to. But you're right. I think it is just a mellower. It's just more of a mellow rub, 100%. But I'm like so paranoid now that not that beef rub blew out my palate. Just I still have that overabundance of flavor still on my palate as I still try to cleanse. So I'm worried that I'm like, am I giving it a fair shake now? So, but yes, a white fish, shrimp, anything like that, I think it would go phenomenal.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Shrimp pasta.
My opinion's like a little bit counter to that. This one was a little bit stronger and a little bit more, I don't know, defined to me. I don't know if it was kind of the dry notes of the paprika on the meat one, where to me it was a little bit more even toned, where this one I immediately got, like, right when it hit my tongue, I got like 5 different, chili peppers that you could kind of pick out, some of the kind of tamarindy type of flavor from some of those chili peppers and different things like that. So I think there's a lot of complexity in here that's hitting me, and maybe even some like citrus notes and things. And then I like there's some little flecks of like, I don't know whether it's just the seeds from the actual peppers or if there is some pepper flake in here, or I mean some like just red pepper, seeds or whatever. But I like those peppers. You bite into one every now and again, it gives you a little burst of spice. And but one thing I like about it is like as that kind of Southwestern rub is, you could do it on like a regular pork butt and you'd get that kind of flavor for some like carnitas tacos or something, but it's not like, boom, I'm putting like this super strong, deal on here with a ton of cumin and stuff like that. So I like how it is like it's kind of a hybrid rub a little bit. Like these guys were saying they're using it on their steaks and stuff. So I think it's really nice.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Like to me, the complexity like stands out tremendously. Like I liked your beef hammer, but I actually like this one more for everyday cooking. There's just so many flavors, but it's still smooth. Like a lot of times you'll get a chili rub and it's just too powerful and too crazy in your mouth. But this one is just like, again, like the first one, it kind of melts. And what I want to do with this is just make chorizo. Like I think if you just mix this with some boiling water and then mix it with your ground beef and your ground pork, it would make some killer chorizo, or even enchiladas. I did enchiladas last night. Yeah, I think you could turn this into a red sauce easily. It's good. I like it a lot.
How about a Texas style chili?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. With beans or without.
No beans. No beans.
That's called a sloppy Joe.
Yeah. Let's give you an audio check, Marty.
Anything better?
You're very, very hollow, kind of. But not bad. So go ahead and give it a go. I can clean it up and
better than it was.
Okay. So yeah, on the machete, first thing I got was like everybody's kind of saying, it really did just explode with a bunch of different flavors that kind of hit all at the same time. I love the chili powder. I love the garlic hit. It's not like overpowering at all, any of them. I can taste all these different elements as they kind of come through and just marinate when I keep tasting. I see this, for me, this is like an AP that I would use on so many things, not just like beef. I could even see putting this on seafood and stuff as well. So great rub. I love the smokiness to it. And I also love how you have a fine grind on all of your rubs. I like that a lot. It makes it easy when you do apply these rubs, when they have a consistent grind, you get a consistent layering of things. And so that I really appreciate. It's nice.
Thank you.
I gotta agree with you on that as well, Marty, because when you get some of those coarser rubs, we've all experienced where that pepper or salt hits whatever you're laying, it literally will jump off. You've seen it kind of just fall off. So it's a great point. Rob, Sean.
I'm gonna go touch on just kind of what everyone else said. I get a lot of like those Southwest flavors, a lot of like Mexican flavor, like, kind of like those vibes. And then like Trevor was saying, as I kept tasting, I kind of got like those little citrus notes. I like this one. I like that the beef hammer too, and kind of like touch on like what you guys were saying with how fine these are with like instead of being so coarse. I like that too a lot. And then also just like you guys were saying, like the flavor, how complex they are, but at the same time, you could build on these rubs. So it's not like, even though they're so good, they're so complex with all these flavors that got you going back for more, but you can add stuff to it and it's not going to take away from that, and that's what I think is really cool is you can play around with these rubs and not just use it as itself, but you can play around with them and add some other flavors and some other stuff, and super cool though.
Yep.
So this is my go-to. I mean, Lee knows I've probably been through 40 bottles of machete. Like I burn through so much of this stuff. And the reason I love it is because there's so many rubs out there that are either salty, too spicy, or no flavor. And when you're cooking for a big group, when I got a big family coming over, this is the go-to. Like if I'm doing especially tri-tip or picanha, like more of a roast kind of a cut that I'm going to maybe even cut up into steaks, everybody's happy with machete. It brings plenty of flavor. You get a ton of flavor out of it, but it's not overwhelming. You always have those people in the group who are like, is this spicy? It better not be spicy. Machete's not spicy, but there is so much flavor for it. So I use it as my AP. It's my go-to when I'm cooking for a group, and I have used it on shrimp, on salmon, even salmon. It's fantastic. But whitefish, it's a good AP that just brings in a whole lot of really good spice and flavor. So yeah, I use it, and I really do use it like AP. I throw it into a lot of recipes. I've mixed it into eggs before. It's kind of always on my counter. So I love machete.
It's awesome. All right, Lee, let's hear about the pork hammer.
All right, pork hammer. A lot of the friends cookouts and stuff like that, we go to their house, have carnitas and things like that. And so wanted something that would complement that really well, give you some of those flavors. So there's some citrus in there with some orange peel and things like that, just to kind of give you that. Because I'm half Mexican, so I've got a lot of Mexican influence growing up and eating and things like that. So that played a lot into the rubs and some of the flavors that are in there with that. But I also approach all my rubs as kind of an AP, where you can use each one individually as an AP. But I always end up just throwing a label on it to specify, just to kind of guide people towards them.
Tacos El Pastor, something that's been marinating with this, because you do get the citrus notes, you get that very sweet first hit. I like that, but then I like how it kind of fades into the earthiness and then straight into the heat, and then I get the citrus right there in the middle as well. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is tacos, that Southwest style flavoring that you look for. I can see me using this on beef as well, for tacos and stuff like that. But this is very, very good and very Southwest oriented, and good job on this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, bacon. Amanda says bacon. I agree.
Yeah.
I'll go on this one because I actually have used it on bacon, and it turned out fantastic. So I do love the smokiness on this one as far as the chipotle, things like that. I do taste the ginger, which I really like. And I think the orange really kind of makes it pop. When you first put that in your mouth, that's the first thing I got was the hint of orange. Everything else just kind of blended in behind it. But I've used this on, like say, bacon, pork butt, ribs, and it always has just a tremendous flavor when it comes out. And where it is a fine grind, everything really kind of absorbs into whatever you're putting it on, which I appreciate. But this is well balanced. This is one that actually all of yours have been well balanced so far. But this is really good for all the amount of ingredients that are in it. There's enough balance. I can taste all of them. If I keep going, I can taste them all. So great job. This is outstanding. And I've used this one many times.
Does this have cinnamon in it?
No, this one does not have cinnamon. It has some coriander.
Yeah, because maybe it's the coriander, because I am getting kind of a cinnamon back in, but that is probably is the coriander.
Yeah, there's something in this one that I can't I've been tasting it. And first of all, because it's really good, but there's something in there. I can usually find the really strong flavors. I don't know if it's just maybe the coriander playing with the celery seed or something like that. But whatever that kind of strong flavor is, it's addicting. And I don't know that I've tasted a flavor like that in a sweet rub or anything. I honestly don't think I have. And this one, I don't know if you watched our last one, but Christy swept the rub competition we had last time, and I think this one's pretty close. Hers it has been for a long time my favorite sweet rub, and I've never tried any of your rubs before. And I think this one is maybe a close second in my favorite sweet rubs category, because it's really unique, it's really distinctive, and I think there's a lot going on in there. I really, really like it. I hate being a yes man on all these, but we did.
Right. Well, like we said before, these are rubs that have been tested. They've been out on the market, and they've been through a lot of testing. I'm pretty sure Christy's had you said you had nine different tests before you hit where you wanted.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Lee has done the exact same thing, ran these through multiple tests to get what they're looking for. So it's going to be hard to produce a bad rub when you're really committed to it and putting work and time into it.
What I really enjoy about this rub is it's kind of like a roller coaster in my mouth, because it goes from a sweetness that's a sugar sweetness, and then all of a sudden you get the heat and the chili comes in, but then you get another sweetness, but it's a different sweetness. It'll be that citrus and it's bringing me back to sweet and then back to like earthy and chili. And then at the very end, that ginger kicks in, and it has that mix of like, you know, kind of the sourness of ginger, but also the sweetness of ginger. And yeah, it's just like like I said, my mouth was just like, oh, it's sweet. No, it's savory. No, it's sweet, but it's sweet with different notes. Like I really like the citrus sweetness, because sometimes when you have citrus, you'll get more like the acidity of a citrus, but this is pulling out the sweetness of a citrus. Like I said, along with the ginger and everything. And again, with the fine powder, it's definitely going to just like meld in there, you know, as a really good base layer or finishing rub. So yeah, I like it. I know I keep saying that too.
when we did Christie's testing, I actually, when I tasted it, I said, wow, this kind of reminds me of my favorite pork rub, which was this. You know, this is what I've been using for a while. And I remember when it first came out, this is one of the slightly more recent ones. And you know, there's so many pork rubs out there where it is just sweet on sweet on sweet. And where do you go from there? You know, how do you build flavor when you're starting off just decimating the meat with sweet? And it's one of the things I love about this is it's a little more complex. You can sweeten it up, tone it down, add more spice, but there's a lot of complexity to it too. I've done full pork belly. I've done pork butts with it. And again, it's a good base layer, but it's also a good standalone pork rub because it already has a lot of the elements that some of the other pork rubs don't, where you feel like, you know, okay, I've got my sugar on there. I got my sweet and honey or whatever. Now I got to throw on a bunch of other stuff. This is a really good standalone rub. People love it.
It does really well on chicken too.
All right. Did everybody comment on this one? Derek?
No, I think I'm the last one. You just can't do anything simple, can you? You have to wow everybody with no matter what you put out, right? So, like right off the bat, when we're talking El Pastor, things like that, I was like, yeah, you can hit this hard. So, like right up, when even bacon, candy bacon, I was like, yes, I know that'll excel. But right away, I gravitated towards pork belly. So pork belly tacos or something along those lines, because you have the accent, the earthiness of that cilantro that's in there. The granulated honey that brings a different sweetness to a rub when you use granulated honey versus a turbinado sugar or just a regular white sugar along those lines. But yeah, the ginger, that accent is there the whole time. So right when I cracked open the seal, you could smell the citrus, you could smell that ginger, and it carries. And yeah, like Christy said, like that roller coaster kind of vibe you're getting. And it reminded me of, it reminded me of a relationship. I was getting, I felt good, and I was like, ooh, then it was mystery and this. And like, ooh, it's so much going on. I couldn't keep up. So it reminded me of an old ex. I could say that because I know my wife ain't going to watch any of this or listen to any of this. So, but no, it's a really good pork rub. And again, it's not overly sweet. And that's what we see a lot of, is a lot of that overly sweet rub when it comes to pork. So yeah, the depth and the possibilities for it, especially utilizing it as a base. Like I said, now I'm just stuck on pork belly now. I just want to go cook pork belly.
Yeah. Sweet. Now the one that I've been waiting for, I know this is probably most likely going to be my go-to Sunday morning eggs.
Don't inhale this one. Do not breathe this one in.
Jalapeno garlic
butter. Don't go hard on it like I've been doing.
It's awesome. It's amazing, but just careful.
Is it that rich?
It's
really fine. I think it's probably the finest one I have.
Yeah. Give us a little bit about this, Lee. It is stamped with award-winning. Where'd the award come from? What's the story?
Just during the testing and stuff like that, I would always send them out to the teams. They would use them while they were competing, and they won awards with them. So I got to throw it on the bottle as soon as it came out, and then just went from there. Just kind of looking for a finisher or finishing dust like that, but I didn't want that. Like a lot of the jalapeno rubs out there, it's real bad, like real strong jalapeno flavor. So this one I wanted to mellow it out a little bit and kind of make it smoother, I guess.
You did a fantastic job. This is very smooth. It has the right amount of heat. I did get a little bit of sweet. I don't know if that's what you meant in there, but there was some sweetness in there. And yeah, this is Sunday breakfast all over it. I can see cooking with this every single day of every weekend, garlic bread and pasta and yeah. Amanda's naming off about 50 different things: potatoes, quesadillas. Yeah,
Well,
this honestly is probably my favorite out of all of them.
Yep.
It's just, man, this one's firing on all cylinders for sure.
Yep.
Amanda claimed it for me. I guess I don't get any. She says it's hers.
So to put it on some popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mouth is totally watering, satiating.
Yeah.
Like all of your stuff melts, like it all just like dissolves. But this one, there are 3 spices that I keep on my kitchen counter for just sprinkling on everything. It's salt, pepper, and Tony seasoning. We just sprinkle that on everything. This is going on the kitchen counter, like because it can just, I mean, everything. Potatoes, like you said, macaroni, garlic bread. All future garlic bread is going to be made with this. I can just tell you that right now. Like my husband and I love spicy. I mean, that's why we have Tony's on the counter. But this is, and for all you Utah folks, your funeral potatoes, you got to put this in your funeral potatoes.
Right? Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Kudos, Manly. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll jump in. One of the things I like about this one is the first thing you taste is the jalapeno, and it doesn't taste artificial. There's a lot of the rubs you get, it has a hint of a jalapeno, but it really doesn't taste like a fresh jalapeno. And this, I get that. And so it really does work well. And the garlic, it complements with that buttery flavor. This is going to be probably, like everybody else is saying, something I'm going to use regularly. I think I want to try this on my next batch of chicken and see how this goes, because I know that's going to really make that pop out. So this is outstanding. I actually have used a garlic jalapeno from a competitor, and I thought it was quite good. But this one is way more balanced, and it has a lot better flavor overall. It's rich. It's got that kind of umami that pops just as soon as you taste it. It really kind of fires off, like they're saying, on all cylinders. This is a well-balanced rub, and it's going to be going on a lot of things in my cooking. I can tell for sure. Great job, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
And there's not really much to touch on from what everyone else says, but like you said, I've tried other garlic jalapeno rubs. This one, like Christy said, it's just makes your mouth water, and just nothing about my mouth right now is like nothing's overpowering, or nothing's like, oh man, my tongue is burning from this. Everything's just blending, and it's definitely one of my favorite out of these, but one of my favorite garlic jalapeno rubs for sure.
Yeah, I think, man, wow, like holy crap, wow, like it's super, super good. Very, very impressed. I think I don't know if there's like a little bit of sort of au jus kind of powder in there, like a beef kind of powder or anything, but I get it a little bit. Maybe it's just because I'm like, the second I taste it, I'm like, I need to make smash burgers like right now with this thing. But this would be amazing on smash burgers. Really good finishing dust on stuff. But again, I mean, that there's you have some complexity, like serious in these. These aren't just like these basic rubs that stick to like normal standard stuff. There's a ton of complexity. There's a ton of flavor in here. Just to my one like thing with this, just to like try to be a little bit not a yes man completely, is I do think like the logo and the labeling is pretty busy for it. So I think if like you were looking on the shelf, that goes a little bit for some of these, but I think the pork hammer and the beef hammer are pretty defined like what they are. But I think if you were looking on the shelf, it could get lost a little because there is a lot going on there. If I had one piece of feedback, it's not like, I mean, I'll still use this like every day, but that's my one kind of my feedback item.
Appreciate that.
I use this all the time. It's a big finisher for me, and I was at Barbecue Pit Stop talking to the guys. They brought it in maybe a year and a half ago, something like that, and they sell out constantly. They're like, every time someone tries it, they come back, and this stuff lasts. Like, you do not need a ton of it. And one of the great things is we've all used jalapeno or other spicy rubs where the second you put a sprinkle on it, you better like heat, because it decimates your whole dish. And it's great for those of us who like really spicy. Great thing on this one is because it has other flavors and other notes, like how much you use, you can use a lot, you can use a little and really modulate it. you're not blowing it out. So if someone doesn't love spicy a ton, you can still use this and just bring a whole bunch of flavor to it. But I don't, man, I don't remember the last time I had a steak that I didn't finish it off with some of this. It's just such an easy, it's almost a crutch for me. I just sprinkle some on and and it layers on all together pretty well. So good stuff.
Yeah, and it's another thing I was going to say, which I forget who touched on it. When you get some of those pepper tastes or those jalapeno rubs, they do kind of taste artificial. But even just trying this again, it's you taste a jalapeno. It's not like a artificial pepper taste. It's a good jalapeno taste that just very, very good rub.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to mix it into guacamole, and I want to try a compound butter with it. Even though it's already butter,
Yep.
like I feel like I could make an even better compound butter.
Maybe in Trevor's cornbread recipe.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
To go with that Texas style chili.
Exactly.
There you go.
We got a potluck coming.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, flavor wise, excuse me, savory. It's very savory. Like everybody was talking about, the salivation, the glands. It hits the glands. It punches them right there, and you start to salivate. I was very taken by that. Initially, when I opened it, you get that essence, you get that aroma of the jalapeno, and it's not offensive. It's letting you know, hey, I'm here. So it reminds me when I'm doing jalapeno cheddar sausage, when we char them, we grill them up, we have the seeds, you have everything all chopped up, and that aromatic it releases. That's what I got out of this bottle. And once you sample it, you get it on your tongue, it goes very, very savory. And then it finishes really nice with the garlic. And this one really melts in your mouth. So I can understand, just like you talked about compound butters, garlic bread, all the things, shrimp scampi, popcorn was such an easy one. Like with that savoriness and that kick in the mouth, it was just like, yeah, like you can't go wrong with that because it'll melt right into that popcorn with the butter. So man, you're doing it. You are doing it. I can't find anything negative to say about any of this.
Right. I don't think this one's going to last very long. I think this one might make it to the end of the month. Let's see.
For all the competition cooks, it's so fine. You can use it in your injections and things like that. A lot of people have had some success.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Really
I can see that in chicken.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see this as an injection and the pork hammer, honestly, as a chicken run, a good competition chicken run, personally. I might have to give that a go. I don't have a chicken recipe nailed down, and I don't have a rib recipe nailed down. So,
Lee, have you ever tried it in a brine, like in a chicken brine or turkey brine?
Yeah, we've done both. So,
Yeah.
like when we do brines, if we're going to do an injection and brine, we'll put some in there with it, and I'll usually throw some beef hammer hot in there with it as well in the brine, and then inject with the jalapeno garlic butter.
Nice.
So we use all these rubs every day at home cooking and stuff like that. The competition side's where it started, but at home's where it's ended.
Nice.
Yeah. So I have two questions before we get out of here. Why Meat Hammer? Where's the name come from?
When I was trying to put the labels on them and stuff like that, I couldn't come up with a name. And Tall City Meat Market here in Midland, he was putting out the beef ribs as the shanks and carving them up like the Thor's hammer. And I was like, well, that'd be a pretty cool name. So I asked him if I could use it. And he was like, yeah, go for it. So that's how I ended up with that one. And then now just from there, the Meat Hammer rubs and everything went off with that. It's a lot easier than That's the One barbecue.
Perfect. And then we know how I feel about MSG on this show. How come Beef Hammer does not have MSG? Everything else does.
When I first started, I thought people would be scared since it was a new product. And there's a lot of misconceptions about MSG. People are worried about it, but they'll go eat chips every day or tomatoes and mushrooms, all the things that have natural MSG in them already. So I just didn't put them in those, but it tastes way better with them. So I like it a lot better.
Yeah, I'm a big
lets
MSG
me use
guy.
less sodium as well. So lots of sodium causes high blood pressure, and we know that for a fact. So it helps me keep the sodium content down for everybody.
Sweet. Yep. Well, anybody else have any other questions before we go around to our favorite rub, which I think is hands down. We already figured it out, but I'll start off. Yeah. Jalapeno garlic butter is my favorite. This is out of all four tonight. So
garlic butter.
Amanda says that as well.
I think I'll probably use the garlic butter most, but maybe I'll just do the pork hammer because I do think it's a really unique rub, and I think I'll use it a bunch.
I'm going jalapeno garlic.
I'm going to
Derek?
put Ty out there for jalapeno garlic and machete. I love them both.
Nice. Yeah.
I'll probably use them in combination too.
Yeah.
I got to go machete because it's what I use like on literally everything.
Yeah, I think the jalapeno garlic butter is going to be, excuse me, my like everyday one. But machete is the one that I am most excited to actually cook some meat with. I really like the complexity of that one. So this is my first barbecue cook one will be this. But this I'm probably having popcorn tonight, honestly.
Derek, you're really still or you froze, one of the two.
But can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's actually raining right now. So unless my internet lines are made of sugar, I don't know why I'm frozen. But no, my vote was definitely for jalapeno garlic butter for sure. Machete right behind it, and no, it's a great one. You know, and when somebody asks you, I was hoping for like a really cool story about the whole meat hammer thing. I was hoping he was gonna say it was like, oh, it was a nickname from a girl back in college she gave me. So I was like, I'll run with that. She called me Meat Hammer.
Wow, Chrissy, don't get too shy now.
Sorry. She should know. She should know. She should expect that from me.
Coming from the guy who's got a mugshot posted right now. That's all.
That is true.
Have you seen this man?
Yeah.
Amanda says that you need to go with that story from now on. You just been rebranded.
There we go.
I was sitting there crossing my fingers like, come on, let it be a good story. It just sounded good. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Had to keep it PG.
Right.
That was PG-ish. Pork Hammer was his nickname. Good call out, Joey, in the comments.
Yeah. All right, Lee. This is where we wrap it up, but go give a shout out and let everybody know where to find you, purchase your rubs, and being able to maybe reach out to you and ask you some questions.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Meat Hammer Rubs or at TT1BBQ. The website's tt1bbq.com, and I answer everything on there, so they can message me. I think my phone number is even on there if they need to text me or call me. So any questions or help with anything that they need, I'm here to help.
Sweet. And then John with the broken down computer says his vote's the jalapeno as well.
Nice.
Sweet. All right, guys. We look forward to seeing what you guys make this week with this rub, or I guess this month, and just go ahead and tag and let us know what creations you come up with. But other than that, thank you again for joining us, and we will have our next rub tasting in about a month.
Sounds good.
Thank y'all for
Sounds
everything.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Lee, thank you for
you.
everything. Nice work.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank y'all.